Greetings, Rabbi Aaron Boxt here from Temple Beth Shalom in Ocala, Florida, back with my podcast for the week. Today, April 24th, is Yom HaShoah. It's the Holocaust Remembrance Day. And in honor of the memory of all of those who perished in the Holocaust, I want to share with you a story of a chance meeting between myself and Pastor Chris Edmonds from Knoxville, Tennessee. I was a rabbi in Knoxville, Tennessee, attending a Yom HaShoah event, and I was there to give a benediction or a prayer at the beginning. I forget which one. And Chris was one of the speakers who spoke about his father's story. And I got a chance to get to know Chris a little bit over the years I was in Knoxville, having heard his father's story a number of times, and also reading his father's book, well, the book that he wrote about his father's story, which I will tell in a moment. And I'm so thankful to have the relationship that I have with Chris. Also bringing him to Temple Beth Shalom and the Ocala Tree of Life Sanctuary in the First Congregational United Church of Christ this weekend. Also bringing him to Ina A. Colon Academy's middle school to meet with the middle school students there tomorrow. His story is remarkable. So he knew nothing of his father's service in the military. He knew his father had been in the Army during World War II, but didn't know anything more than that. Well, upon his father's passing, Roddy Edmonds, Chris and his mom went up into the attic to clear out some things, and they found a journal, and among other things, that told of these heroic acts that Roddy had done while he was in the military. And so Roddy was the highest-ranking non-commissioned officer in his platoon. And when his platoon was captured at the Battle of the Bulge by the Nazis, the all-enlisted soldiers went to one POW camp, and all of the officers went to another POW camp. So that left Roddy as the highest ranking officer in his platoon at the camp. Well, one afternoon or one evening, the Nazi person in charge, the commandant of the camp, came to Roddy Edmonds and said, "Tomorrow morning for roll call, I want you only to send out your Jews." Well, Roddy made a decision, and he shared it with the other enlisted officers in his division. And the next morning, when roll call came, all of them, his entire unit, platoon, showed up for roll call. There were only about 200 or so, 300 maybe, Jews in the platoon, but they all showed up for roll call. And when the commandant saw what happened, he walked up to Roddy Edmonds and he said, "I told you that I only wanted you to send out your Jews for roll call this morning." And Roddy looked him straight in the face and said, "Today, we're all Jews." And of course, the Nazi commandant, got very upset and took out his pistol and put it to the temple of Roddy Edmonds and said, "If you don't tell me who your Jews are, I'm going to kill you right here and now." And Roddy looked him straight in the face and said, "According to the international laws of war, I'm only required to tell you my name and my rank, not my religion or anything else. And you can go ahead and kill me. You can go ahead and shoot me right now. But I'm telling you, at the end of this war, when you've lost, which you will be brought up upon war crimes. And all of the people that are here are witnesses to that." At which point the commandant of the camp was extremely upset and flustered and got in his Jeep and drove off. And then a couple of days later, the camp was freed. There were The Nazis had lost the war, and all of the soldiers were able to go free. And Roddy never shared this story with his family. Well, Chris took it upon himself to contact as many of the Jewish soldiers that he could from his father's platoon to talk to them about his father and the stories and this and that, and went around the country, has gone around the country ever since, telling the story of his father and of the Jews that he saved during the Holocaust. And it is a tremendous honor to call Chris a friend, a colleague. Roddy, Chris's father, is one of 5 Americans recognized by the state of Israel as a righteous Gentile for the hundreds of Jews that he saved. These were American Jews, but Jews nonetheless that would have been killed by the Nazis had it not been for the bravery or let's just say the humanity of Roddy Edmonds. What a tremendous story, and I'm excited for my community here to hear the story, to be able to see and listen to some of the interviews of some of the Jews that were saved by Roddy, and what kind of a leader he was, what kind of a soldier he was, and what kind of a human he was. And in this day and age, with all the hatred out there, it really does show that we're all human. This story, Roddy's story, is a story that should be told time and time again, because he had nothing to gain from doing what he did. As a matter of fact, he could have lost his life. But in the face of death, in the face of evil, he stood up to protect the people that were in his command, the people that looked up to him as a leader. If only the leadership that we have around the world could follow in the footsteps of Roddy Edmonds, we would be in a much better place for sure. I hope that if you've lost family members in the Holocaust, that the memories that you have of them, or the memories that you had been told about them from pictures or whatnot, or stories that you've heard about them, are able to comfort you and your family, and that you're able to wake up the next day, open your eyes, and say, hey, we defeated the Nazis. And we can never, ever, ever let something like that happen again. Never again means today. Never again means today. Shabbat Shalom.